Competing in his home Grand Prix always has a special flavor, winning in it even more so. But for Charles Leclerc, just finishing his home Grand Prix is already a significant achievement in itself. Since his arrival in Formula 1 in 2018, he has competed on the street of the Principality only four times due to the global health crisis in 2020 and a crash in qualifying in 2021. Even when this weekend go without too many anomalies, the results are particularly disappointing. I especially remember the fiasco in 2022. You remember he started on pole position with victory within his grasp, but Ferrari missed it completely. I also think of last year when he took a free place grid penalty, putting him in 6th position. He has never made it onto the podium while driving for Ferrari since 2019. Despite securing pole position twice, it's quite an anomaly. But this year Charles Leclerc aims to break the curse on the street of Monaco, and he has few arguments to support this. His car, which might suit as the street of the Principality well, and his excellent form at the start of the season, which I think has gone somewhat unnoticed. I will explain all of this today in this new video. Aside from the World Championship title, there is no doubt that the greatest accomplishment in Charles Leclerc's life will be to win in Monaco at least once. Yet, since his debut in motorsport, the city's young prince has never really been fortunate. It wasn't until 2022 that he scored his first point in the Principality. Can you believe it? Even in Formula 2 in 2017, with both a feature race and a sprint race, he didn't even manage to score a single point. This shows how luck has eluded him in recent years, and it's generally not due to a lack of talent. Proof of this is that he secured pole position twice consecutively in 2021 and 2022, but never capitalized on it. Every year it's the same story. He arrives in Monaco with a super positive attitude, like yeah, this year is the one, and ends up finishing the weekend with his head in his hand. But this season, others say that Charles Leclerc has a chance to make mark in Monaco, perhaps even securing a podium finish. To support this idea, let's take a closer look at Ferrari's performance recently, particularly during the Imola Grand Prix. The general feeling, tell me if I'm wrong, is that they were a little bit disappointing. Sure, they finished 5th and 3rd, which isn't terrible, but there is a slight disappointment compared to the public's expectation. I think that there was a lot of buzz around the Ferrari SF24 2.0, which was supposed to end Max Verstappen and Red Bull's reign of terror. In reality, it's McLaren that's emerging as the main competitor. This doesn't show too much in the standings because they are about 60 points behind Ferrari, but their pace in qualifying and race is absolutely formidable. I'm thinking of course of Norris' victory, won thanks to a bit of luck with the safety car, but he was the fastest on track after that. At Imola, Norris himself thought that he only needed 1 or 2 more laps to challenge Verstappen for the win. I could also mention their qualifying at Imola. Without a stratospheric Max Verstappen, it would have been pole position. What's striking is that their car and its development are working very well. Yet Ferrari holds the second place in the constructor standings, carried by a very consistent driver duo. While McLaren is climbing up, the Monaco Grand Prix, with its livery tribute to Ayrton Senna, might suit the Scuderia well. At Imola, they brought a whole new package covering the entire car, a radiator steel inspired by Red Bull, adjustments to the front and rear wing, and a redesigned diffuser, all aiming to balance aerodynamic performance and cooling. Fred Vasseur believes his team made a step forward in Italy. The improvements delivered what they expected in terms of aerodynamics and reliability, but they seem somewhat uncertain when choosing the right setting. After qualifying, Leclerc mentioned that both he and Carlos lost a lot of time in sector 2 and 3 for no apparent reason. What we understand is that they probably missed the mark when preparing the car on Saturday. I agree with Vassar that they made progress at Imola. Without their improvement, I'm not sure they would have secured the podium. They are still handicapped by the circuit's characteristics when overtaking is very difficult, and by Leclerc's grid position not ideal for a good start. I would also add that they had issues with energy deployment. Well, talk about this a bit later, but it cost them a lot of time on the straights. They also had tire management problems, particularly on mediums, where there was much more degradation compared to McLaren. But Monaco will be a whole different story, because obviously the track has nothing to do with Imola. Fred Vassar confirmed that they will not bring anything new to the Principality except perhaps a rear wing with different DRS configuration. The goal this weekend is mainly to find the right setups with the material they have. The SF14 is a very good starting point, and if McLaren is very close to Red Bull today, I don't see why Ferrari couldn't do the same. The rest of the development will come first in Montreal, then probably at Silverstone. In the meantime, Fred Vassar's goal is clear: continue developing until they catch up with Red Bull and keep an eye on McLaren, who are catching up fast. He is aware that there is a small window to catch Max Verstappen and his team. Something that might give Leclerc hope is that Red Bull is no longer as dominant as before. There's a counter-argument. Verstappen has 7 poles in 7 races, but let's say his margin is shrinking from race to race, and there is also a question mark over Sergio Perez. The Mexican driver went out in Q2 at Imola, and while we are currently learning towards it being an accident, we can't help but the recall his drop in form at exactly the same time last season. The RB19s had such a lead that Checo mistakes didn't impact their season too much, but this year it could hurt badly if Ferrari and McLaren keep up this pace, with such a narrow gap. Red Bull will need Perez to secure the constructors' title because the drivers at Ferrari and McLaren are more evenly matched. The next Grand Prix will be crucial for Sergio Perez, but that's another topic that we will certainly discuss later. So, does Ferrari have a chance in Monaco? At first glance, it doesn't seem like the track where they can shine the most, but I must admit it's very difficult to predict. In Monaco there are always surprises. Look at what Ocon did there last year. Additionally, at the time I'm recording this, they are forecasting rain on Saturday, and knowing the importance of qualifying, it could have a huge impact on the final result. For them, there is a big advantage in racing at Monaco. It will cover their main problems since the start of the season, something that has handicapped them on every circuit and contrasts strongly with what they did last year. I'm talking about their engine deficits, and I don't know what about you, but it's something that surprised me personally. Remember, the end of last season, Charles Leclerc took 3 pole positions in the last 5 Grand Prix. They simply had the best car in qualifying at the end of the year. This year is not showing at all so far, and it's explained by a rather troublesome problem with the power unit, more specifically with the energy deployment. Sainz and Leclerc have been consistent in saying that there is an issue at the start of the lap, especially which causes them a lot of time compared to Red Bull on the straight. It's a significant difference on a track like Imola. It's a big handicap. In Monaco, I tend to think it will be much better in this regard. It's obviously the slowest track of the season, highlighting the aerodynamic characteristics of the car rather than raw power. If Ferrari can unlock the secret of their updates and put the car in the right conditions, they could be running for pole position. It's far from impossible, of course, but Verstappen remains the huge favorite. Let's remember he was on pole position last year and produced an absolutely extraordinary lap, one of the best qualifications I've ever seen in Formula 1. There is certainly in all of this, they can count of Charles Leclerc in the top 4. Even if he hasn't been lucky in Monaco in recent years, he must acknowledge that on one lap he is particularly strong on this circuit. Knowing his qualities in qualifying, he will certainly be Ferrari number 1 weapon this weekend. What he was achieving so far is very good. He has climbed to second place in the championship without winning a race or even securing a pole position. I also recall that his start to the season was complicated and he was performing below Carlos Sainz, but a championship is long, and he has been doing everything well for some time now. There's a few moments where I was a bit disappointed. For example, he spent in Miami during the only free practice session of the weekend, which is something he wouldn't, and his worst result is P4. That's what I call consistency, and it explains his second place in the championship today. In Monaco, he is not the favorite for the win or pole position, of course, but he might be in the best form of his career, and that should allow him to secure a podium, at least. I hope so. Personally, I hope so, and I usually try to be more rational. But after so many years of struggle, I want to see this driver celebrate something at home. Seeing him on the podium in Monaco would be a powerful symbol of Ferrari resurgence. It will send a message to the entire team behind Leclerc that the curse is finally over, and will certainly be nice reward after so many disappointments. We wish Charles Leclerc good luck for his home Grand Prix, where he solely believes this year might finally be the one for him. Friends, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching it, and let me know in the comments your prediction for Charles Leclerc in Monaco this weekend. Do you see him on the podium? If so, in which position? The first perhaps? I don't know. I will read your comments very attentively. And just before we go, remember to like this video if you enjoyed it, and of course subscribe to give me a lot of support. We will see each other very soon for a new video, and goodbye, see you the next time.